Well, hello everybody. Welcome back for day 3 of our masterclass, How to Turn Your Annual Income into Your Monthly Income. I am Karen Brooke, your presenter and host and high performance mindset coach, taking you through this topic over the last 3 days, and we are going to bring it in for a landing on day 3. However, please stick around to the end and we're going to share some details with you about a special bonus day 4. Got a very special bonus day 4 planned for you, so stick around to the end with us and I'll share all the details with you on that and how you can join in for day 4. Now, I am loving seeing the welcome notes in the chat here. You see, the thing is, when you're attracted into this energy, everyone is just as lovely as you. So I'm loving seeing you all say good morning to each other and wish each other well for the day. We're also going to open up the Q&A box this morning for you. So if you have a look on your control panel, you should see a Q&A box. And in there, you can type me a question. If you are watching the recording, feel free to type your question in the chat of the recording and I can type an answer to you and pick it up from there. One of the benefits of being on live with me and being in live coaching in a program with me is you get to ask questions. And we have this function in our programs in Thinking into Results. We have a group study call, a group teaching call one week and a Q&A call the next week. So there's always a chance to get your questions answered live. In Inner Circle, we have regular one-on-one coaching. We have hot seat coaching calls. We have mastermind calls. We have so much opportunity, and we have our WhatsApp group where I can answer questions and work with you day to day in real time. In the Wealthy You coaching program, we have a Facebook group where you can ask questions. And here on the call today, you can type your question and get it answered live with me on the call today. In Thinking into Results and Inner Circle, we also have our morning study calls, which happen 4 days a week, Monday to Thursday. And that's another opportunity to be on together and be connecting in this energy, studying and getting the answers to the questions that you have. So, every question has an answer. So when we ask a question, not only are we benefiting ourselves, but we're also benefiting other people that we're connected with because we're sharing in that energy with each other. And what you will find as people ask questions or I give an answer to something, you'll think, wow, that's actually very helpful. But you hadn't consciously been aware of that question. Somebody else was consciously aware of it. They asked that question and you also benefited from the answer. And that's what we call the law of cause and effect, givers gain. When you put out good, you get greater good back. And when we think about turning our annual income into our monthly income, these are some of the habits and strategies that I want to teach you over the course of the next 6 months that will allow you to achieve better results, to make quantum leaps, to attract greater volumes of sales, money, opportunities to your business without working longer hours. Physically, working longer and harder isn't the answer to making a quantum leap. In fact, more often than not, it only leads to burnout and overwhelm. And that is no way for you to be living your dream life. Agreed? So, as we get into today's call, I want to share with you an idea about being radical. Now, I think turning your annual income into your monthly income is a pretty radical idea as it stands. To me, I've been working with this idea now for nearly a decade, probably right on a decade since I began working with Bob Proctor. But I was an accomplished businesswoman in my own right before that time as well. I ran a branding and marketing company for the best part of the 10 years. I've been self-employed since I was 18, just turned 39, so do the maths on that, a little over 20 years. I've run my own businesses. I had an events company, Australian Outback Events, all throughout my 20s. I had a branding and marketing company all throughout my 20s. I was in business consulting, branding, corporate strategy. And then I went into this high performance coaching space. I began working with Bob Proctor. He shared some ideas with me that were truly life-changing about who I was, about how I was creating my results, and how I could begin to create the results that I'd always dreamed of. And one of those radical ideas to get me thinking and operating in a higher way was turning my annual income into my monthly income. And I believe that if you want to achieve things, really step out and live your dreams, you've got to be radical. And most people are not radical. Most people are thinking well within their limits, but you've got to get out of the box. you've got to begin to do what you really want to do. See, I don't think most people are doing what they really want to do. I think most people are doing what they think they could do if they're stretching. So you do have to get out of the box. You've got to start to listen to that quiet voice within. Become aware of what you really want and allow yourself to get emotionally involved. See, I don't believe most people allow themselves to get emotionally involved with what they want because they're so scared of failing. They're so put down on having tried in the past and failed that they're unwilling to step out and try again because they're scared. But you've got to get out of the box. You've got to get emotionally involved with what you want. You've got to allow yourself to grow, and you've got to allow yourself to be coached. To go to someone who's demonstrated by results, they know what they're talking about, not degrees, not accolades, not awards. I'm not interested in awards. I'm interested in helping you get results. And that's what I've dedicated my life to. I spent as much time as I could flying backwards and forwards to Toronto 3 or 4 times a year to be personally mentored by Bob Proctor. I just wanted to learn as much from him as I could. I wanted him to teach me as much as he could teach me so that I could benefit from it, and then also share that with you so that you can prosper and achieve your goals and dreams too. And that's what we're here to help you do. You will have noticed the day 3 email this morning. We made a point of this in saying there isn't any long, big sales pitch, massive promotion. I don't believe that's the sort of company that we are, and I don't believe you're that sort of person that needs that to act. I believe that you know you've been attracted here for a reason. It's a very simple decision. To get access to the blueprint, to be supported, to have that accountability and support. And your heart says, I want to stay here with us. You want to stay here with me. You don't want this to become self-help and have been lifted up and raised over a few days and then just to go back to how it was. So make a decision today to stay in this energy. Go to my website, choose the program that you feel drawn to, that your heart feels attracted to, and follow that and trust that. And don't let the time or the money or somebody else's opinion hold you back. Do whatever you need to do. I remember Bob Proctor saying, if you knew how good this was, you'd be knocking down my door to get it. You'd be borrowing the money from your grandma to get into it, And I remember working with a client, Emily, many years ago. And at the time, I think the program was about 10,000. It's 12,000 now for Thinking Into Results. This was back in 2018. And she said, if I knew what I was going to get when I started, I would have paid 100 grand for that, because she had been searching for a long time. She'd done a lot of personal development, a lot of training, but she'd never done anything like this. And she got into that coaching, and she said that to me 6 months later. If I knew what I was going to get, I would have paid 100 grand for it. So there you go. It's all there on the website for you. Follow your intuition today. Don't let the end of this call go by. Don't let the end of today go by without having made a committed decision, and act on it. Do the illogical and be radical. So let's make our commitment for day 3 to write your name in the space provided. And let's say it again. I commit to completing all sessions of How to Turn Your Annual Income into Your Monthly Income Masterclass with Karen Brooke, and keeping an open heart and mind. I allow myself to be coached. I allow myself to be guided. I allow myself the best energy and the self-confidence to act on any impulses and ideas that come my way during this time. I am eager, I am able, and I am willing. Be self-directed, take action, make a committed decision. You don't need to know how it's all going to work out. You don't need to know when, where, the time or the money is going to come from. You need to make a committed decision and act on it today. Let's turn over to the next page. The truth. What is the truth? Regardless of what you have accomplished up until yesterday, it is still nothing compared to where you can go next. Are you ready to soar to breathtaking new heights in business and life? This is a pretty big idea, because most of you here have accomplished a great level of success. I don't doubt that. I don't think you'd be attracted to my coaching if you weren't feeling somewhat accomplished in one or more areas of your life, because you want to do better. You know that you're capable of more. Am I right? You know you've been playing less than what is possible for you, and you dare to live the life that you've always desired. And no matter what you have accomplished, it is still nothing compared to where you can go next. At best, you're only operating at about 10% of your true potential. Now, we've played around with this annual income to your monthly income idea, but let's look at that again. Imagine taking your annual income and timesing it by 10. Put another 0 on the end. That is what is available to you right now. Let's go further than that. 12 times it, your annual income, your monthly income. I want you to imagine making your annual income in 1 month. How does that feel for you? That is the opportunity that is here for you. That is the reality that is available to you. If you can see it in your mind, if you can feel it in your heart, you can hold it in your hand. And there is a pathway and a blueprint to show you how to do that. And we must get you upgrading and changing the paradigm, because you are limited at the moment with whatever that programming is set at. Wherever that programming is set is all you can create. The truth is that you think between 60 and 70,000 thoughts a day. 90% of your life is controlled by habit. 2 to 4% of your results are created in the conscious mind. 96 to 98% of your results are created in the subconscious mind. So if I don't get you, if I don't show you and teach you exactly how to change the subconscious mind, you're going to keep creating the results you've always created. Could you imagine going to bed today and knowing that today was as good as your life is ever going to get? Because that's what's at stake here. Today is as good as it's ever going to get for you, unless and until you learn to change the paradigm. And that's what I'm going to teach you how to do. You deserve to know this. Everybody deserves to know this. In fact, I was rewatching the video of Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher talking about when they originally created Thinking into Results, the very original program. I've reiterated it and redeveloped it and added to it with all of my 10 years of wisdom and experience of teaching this every single day. And we now have version 3.0. The Karen Brook Thinking into Results 3.0. And Sandy Gallagher said, we want this in every home around the world, because the young benefit from it, the old benefit from it. I went to bed last night with my 6-year-old and we did meditation, we did breath work, we did cleansing, we did visualizing our goals. Imagine your children understanding this, how to set and achieve a C-type goal, how to change their paradigms, that you are not then raising children who become adults who have paradigms that you programmed there. And now you've got to get them into it when you're 80 or 90, getting your 30 or 40-year-old child into Thinking into Results because you never learned how to change the paradigm. I mean, I tell that story and it's quite a funny story because Bob Proctor had a parent go to one of his paradigm shift seminars many years ago and bring her 19-year-old son along with her. And she said, you need to come to this. And he was like, why do I need to be there? Because I programmed your paradigms and you need to learn how to change them. So we've got to take responsibility for this and learn how to do it ourselves, because otherwise your life is just going to be controlled by habit. Your paradigms have been programmed environmentally and genetically. They were programmed at birth and then they were programmed through your environment. And you've picked up paradigms knowingly or unknowingly from your environment. Some of those paradigms serve you very well. Some of them are outdated. Some of them are very poor paradigms. And some paradigms you've simply plateaued with and you want to upgrade them. You want to change them. And remember, if you want better business performance, if you want to turn your annual income into your monthly income, and just imagine earning in 1 month what you used to earn in a year, what that could do for your company, how many more clients you would be serving, how many more products you'd be serving, how many more people you might be employing, how many families' lives you'd now be changing because you can afford to employ more people. The philanthropic things that you can do to give back. Truly life-changing. I had another client, Shane Hiscock. He came to work with me in around 2018, 2019, got started in Thinking into Results. And he did turn his annual income into his monthly income. A little over a year later, he was earning $1 million a year in real estate. And I remember last year, he took his family on a holiday to Europe and Paris, and his 3 daughters and his wife, and he bought a beautiful home in Ashgrove for them. When he came to work with me, that was a complete fantasy. He owed his parents money. He owed his wife's parents money. There was no way he could imagine even being able to afford a house or pay the private school fees. And he was earning 6 figures. But we got him into this. He took a payment plan. He got started. He did exactly what I told him to do. And he will admit openly that he was heavily invested in personal development. He'd tried everything that there was to try. And with some level of skepticism, my name was put forward to him and said, you need to work with Karen Brooke. I know you've done a lot, but you've never done this. And he did come to work with me, and he thought, well, there's a line in the sand here. This has to work for me, and I'm going to do exactly what she suggests. And he did, and his life is completely transformed because of it. So if you want to change your life, you have to start by changing how you think. And when you change you, everything becomes right. You become what you think about. Not only do you become what you think about, you become what you get emotionally involved with. I mean, you tell me where your attention has been, and I'll show you who you're becoming. You tell me where the decisions have been in your mind and in your bank account, and I'll tell you what you're manifesting. We've got to start to think, feel, and act like the person you want to become, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And the story you tell yourself is the one that starts to manifest into your results. And if you want different results, you have to tell yourself a different story. You know, if you're operating with a paradigm right now that you're used to earning $100,000 a year or $150,000 a year, and all of a sudden we're talking about earning that in a month, making $1.2 million a year, or taking your $1 million business and earning that in a month. Would you agree with me that the self-image, the story you've been telling yourself of the person earning $120,000 a year is going to be a very different story if you're now earning $120,000 a year? The person earning $120,000 a year doesn't have the paradigms to earn $120,000 a month. But I'm going to teach you how to do that. I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to take you by the hand and show you the exact step-by-step process to turn that into a new paradigm and change that money paradigm and change that time paradigm, that you do become available for whatever it is that you really want. So you cannot outperform your self-image paradigm. You just can't do it. You can't work harder, right, or longer and try to get better results, because you will always default back to wherever the paradigm is programmed. But you can change it, and that's what I'm going to teach you how to do. And when you change it, you'll be looking at life through a completely different set of glasses. You will begin to see things differently. You begin to manifest differently. You begin to create results at a much, much higher level. So let's have a look now. Turn over to page 6 and answer these questions and really get honest with yourself and make a decision today and write it in pen. The number of people that I look over their shoulder when they're doing this at my seminar and they're writing in pencil, uncommitted, right? They don't know how to do it. They've got to think about it longer. They're scared. Well, that ends right now. I want you to think about what it is that you really want, that you have decided to accomplish, create, or improve. You may not be crystal clear on what your C-type goal is, but that's not your job. That's my job to show you how to do that and to help you get there. And we cover that in lesson 1. The first 2 weeks of my Signature Blueprint program is all about helping you to figure out what it is that you really want and set a goal that scares you, that gets you outside of your comfort zone, that you don't know how to accomplish, and then give you the exact steps to turn that into reality. So for today, I want you to think about, get really honest with yourself, listen to your heart, listen to what is going on in your gut. I'm so happy and grateful now that, and I want you to write that down. And at the same time, I want you to think about, what is the alternative? If you don't go after this goal and what you really want, how will you be settling for your present results? Because something is always at stake. When people think about setting a goal, they'll often think about, well, what's it going to take for me to get there? And they won't spend much time thinking about the alternative. If I don't achieve this goal, how am I actually settling for where I'm presently at? If you don't take a little bit of time and a little bit of money and invest in yourself and get into a program with me and decide to change your results and change your life, upgrade your paradigm and change your life, then how are you actually settling for things as they are now? It's going to cost you either way. I used to say before my prices were on the website, and someone would say, well, how much is your coaching? I'd say, if you do it or if you don't do it. because otherwise it's going to cost you. Could you imagine if someone like Shane, when I can't afford it, he would still be stuck earning 100 grand a year? I guarantee it. There is no doubt about it, because that was the habit. Could you imagine if he actually said, I can't afford that, $12,000 to do that coaching with you, and I let him make those excuses? He wouldn't have the $1 million business that he has today, taking his family on a trip to Europe, buying a house, and now employing people in his company. So something is always at stake. It's going to cost you either way. It's either going to cost you a little bit of time and money and you end up where you want to be, or it's going to cost you where you're at now. Nothing better can come your way. So get honest with yourself and think about this question. What is it that you really want, that you would love to accomplish, that you would love to create, or you'd love to improve? And what is the alternative? How will you be settling for things as they are now, imagining that today is as good as it's ever going to get for you? And journal your thoughts on this below. Let me ask you this question. How long have you wanted what you really want? How long have you wanted what you really want? How long have you wanted to create the changes that you really want to make? Jot down a number or a year or, as we go through these. How long have you had this reoccurring concern or problem that you would like to eliminate? How long has that been playing out for you? And I have one more question for you. How much would you have to earn to eliminate all financial concerns from your life, either as a yearly figure or as a lump sum? I want you to write that figure down. These questions are not in your workbook, so just write them down on maybe on the do you want to close the gap page, turn over to that. So let's go through some of those again. On the page, do you want to close the gap? Let's make it really there for you. How long have you wanted what you really want? For the last year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, write down that answer. How long have you wanted to create the changes, personally or professionally, that you really want? How long have you had a reoccurring concern or problem in your life that you'd like to eliminate? How long has that been playing out for you for? And how much would you have to earn to eliminate all financial concerns from your life? Let's put one more in there for good measure. If you could wake up every day and do exactly what you want to do, money was no object, time was no object, you had all the resources, the people, what would you love to do? How would you love to spend your days? Now, I want you to imagine this time next year, you and I are catching up for a lovely coffee, maybe with a beautiful ocean view. I live near the beach. Just the two of us. We're sitting down, we're having a cup of coffee, and you're telling me about all the changes you've made since being in my coaching program. A year from now, this time next year, you and I have worked together, you've followed the process, you've got results. What do you want that conversation to look like this time next year? We're sitting down, it's beautiful, 9:30 in the morning, the sun's at our back, beautiful ocean view, we're right on the water. Beautiful white tablecloth, someone's serving us coffee, maybe a little side of fruit, and some chocolate croissants. It's just the two of us. We're talking about everything you have created and accomplished and transformed over the last 12 months. I want you to imagine the reality of that. Are you ready? Are you ready to close the gap? Do you want to close the gap between where you are and where you really want to be? Really want to be? Are you ready for a recipe, like a repeatable formula for creating the success that you really want? Because success is not a secret, it's a system. And when you follow the system, you win. Bob Proctor spent his whole life studying and researching this. He got to 26. He was sick, he was broke, and he was unhappy. Someone gave him a book, Ray Stanford, and said, if you do exactly what I tell you to do, you can become happy, healthy, and wealthy. And he did follow the direction of that man, and he built a cleaning business that operated all around the world. Took his income from less than he owed $6,000 or $4,000 a year, and he took it to $124,000 in a year, and then 4 years later he took it over $1 million. And he couldn't believe how astronomically his life had changed from a guy who dropped out of school, didn't get an education, came from a very poor family, got kicked out of the fire department, how someone like him could completely transform his life. And then he studied for the next best decade trying to figure out what he had done. And then when he figured it out, all he wanted to do was teach it. And we're now the beneficiaries of that. That lineage of wisdom and knowledge collapses time for you. I'm here to take the guesswork out of success for you and show you exactly what to do to close the gap between where you are and where you really want to be, and take the guesswork out of that. Because chances are you don't have the time to figure it out all yourself. You might feel like that's the more logical, rational thing to do, but your time is your life. The time that you spend bouncing around the internet from one thing to another, not really getting the breakthroughs that you really want, you definitely deserve better. And I think you know that too, because the truth always resonates with the perfection within us. If not now, when? Are you ready to close the gap? If not now, when? You do it for yourself. Only you can make the decision on this. I can't want this for you more than you want it for yourself, but it is all here for you. You make a committed decision. You go to the website, you book yourself in for a course with me, a program with me. You'll never look back. I've been doing this for a very long time now. I've coached and helped hundreds of people all around the world. In 1 week, my YouTube channel has gone from 4,170 people to 13,800 people in the last week. I mean, we are changing the world. Do you want to be a part of it or stay on the outside? Get this for yourself. Do it for yourself. Page 8. But don't try to do it by yourself. We can help you. I can help you. I have an amazing team behind me. We have an incredible community. In fact, I want to acknowledge some current clients that are on the line with us. We've got some past clients there too. Welcome back. Dale is on the line with us. David Eagleson is here. Jess Eagleson is here. Kelly Dalgleish is here. Who else have we got that's a current client? Sue is here. I mean, and we've got some past clients on the line as well. We've got Justine Carey, Jenny Poet, Carolyn. I mean, just even write a note. If you were to finish the sentence, coaching with Karen is ... like what's the one word? For those that have never worked with me in a formal coaching program before, or perhaps are on the recording and seeing this after and we're not able to be here live, what's one word you'd use to describe it? Because when you do it for yourself but not by yourself, amazing things start to happen because you tap into the mastermind. You have that accountability and support when you're talking about your C-type goals and those big ideas, and you've got the support mechanisms around you to keep you focused. Because there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of opinions. Not everyone around you is going to be happy in the beginning that you want to set and achieve a goal, which is crazy because they love you, but you're changing, you're transforming. And so you need the accountability and support of like-minded people to help you through that, to give you some space. It's like a newborn baby. When you set a goal and you decide to create some change, it's a newborn baby in the beginning. It's got to be loved. It's got to be nurtured. So do it for yourself, but not by yourself. We're here for you. So some words. Karen Brook Coaching is life-changing, freedom, supportive, connective, self-finding growth. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that with everyone else on the call as well. So let's have a look. The problem, the new paradigm of personal development. You know, when we think about sales and we think about selling, people really misunderstand what it is. Sales is helping another person achieve something that they really want. Sales is leading you on the path to agreement, helping you to discover what it is that you really want, and then helping you to get it. And that's my job. That's my job as your coach, as your guide, but also as the salesperson here with you today, professionally selling you, taking you through a process of discovery, and then giving you the solution. And I have a duty of care to do that. That is what a professional salesperson does, helps you discover what it is that you really want, get really clear on that, the changes that you want to make, and then give you a formula, a process, a solution that you can act on, that you can make a decision around to say, yes, I want that solution, and then move you on that journey together. But we've come up with a little bit of a problem over the last few years, and I call it the new paradigm of personal development. And this new paradigm of personal development is basically just to shoot yourself up with micro content and YouTube videos that make you feel good. And that's the bugger about the whole personal development industry, right? That you do feel good. So you're not achieving the goals that you really want or the things that you want. Nothing's changing permanently, but now you actually have a way to make yourself feel good. If you scroll Instagram for even just 5 or 10 minutes, there's barely an actual picture of your friends or family anymore. It's just motivational reels. So you get this dopamine hit and you feel good for a day or two, maybe a week. You'll be high flying off the back of this masterclass, and you can ignore the problem for a while. You feel like you've done something to treat it, right? You've taken a little antidote, you've joined the class, you're here, you're in the energy. But the reality is the results don't change. Your results are not going to change out of these 3 days. But what has shifted is your awareness. We've begun to open you up to a new level of awareness about what is possible and what you need to do, where you're presently at. If we're not aware of where we're presently at and what that tells us about our paradigm, how can we change it? How can we then decide what it is that you really want? So your results are not going to change after the back of these 3 days, but your awareness is shifting. Your ability to make a decision, your confidence to make a decision and back yourself has changed. And that's how we start the transformation process. But the reality is you need to do more than this. You can't just feel better and stay stuck. You're still going to be stuck, right? What's required to get unstuck is really an illogical move. It goes against probably everything that you're feeling. It is illogical. It is going against the logical way you've always done things. Maybe you like to sit on decisions. Maybe you like to do more research. Maybe you like to wait until things in your circumstances change, but I'm telling you that the way to get going is to make a decision and act on it, is to rip the band-aid off, is to crash through the terror barrier. To change this program, it requires a lot of repetition, not just repeating a bunch of YouTube videos. You have to target and upgrade the paradigm that is causing the problems or limitations. I had a client come to an event with me last year, and he spoke to me for 5 minutes. And he said and he was already at 7 figures, this business owner, he's a CEO of a marketing company. He said, in 5 minutes, you spotted my paradigm, and it allowed us to make a quantum leap. We walked away from that event. We worked with the program. We sat down with each other, with his business partner, and they came up with a new business idea that generated another $300,000 for their company. He said, with 5 minutes of talking to you, you could spot my paradigm. And that's the value of a coach or mentor, is you're not trying to figure it all out yourself, that you can come to me. I know what I'm talking about. I've demonstrated by my own results, by clients' results, that I know what I'm talking about. And we've got to start treating the root cause, not just the symptoms, not just the outcomes, like get to the bottom of where you're at and what we need to do to get you unstuck. The reason personal development is exploding in micro content is because it doesn't work, the micro content. But everybody's watching it. Everyone's making money of it, right? Everyone's getting their views up, not because it's going to help you, but because Facebook and Instagram can then use that profile to sell advertising, and they get a kickback from the advertising that is sold through the views on their channel. It's not to help you. The micro content doesn't work. What you need is a mentor that can compress time, that can get you working on the right thing. If you're struggling with your weight, you wouldn't go and watch a video about how to sell. People are bouncing all over the place looking for the answer in the wrong places. They're looking for the answer to make themselves feel good. So what is the solution? You need a roadmap out of the woods and into new results. Now you're going to have to leave your ego at the door here. I coached the last year, she's still in my coaching today, a client who had a very high up corporate role, C-suite role with a global company in insurance, chief of staff, chief of strategy. I met her at an event many, many years ago in 2018, and she was following me on LinkedIn, and I didn't realize she was still following me and behind the scenes. And one day she wrote to me and she said, I want to get into your program. She had highly accomplished. I mean, she is mentoring the people in the Telstra Businesswomen's Award, you know, she's mentoring them, highly accomplished, but had no ego, could see that there was something here that perhaps could really benefit her and help her get out of doing things the effort way. Because in corporate, in CEO, in business, you're taught the effort way. You're also taught a very masculine way of doing business, that is what's required to achieve success. You're working very in the mechanical. Strategy, plans. If I can't see it, it's not real. You know, the creative thinking has been dimmed down and dulled. And it creates a very effort way of doing life and doing business, particularly work, right? Very effort way at work, which puts a lot of strain on your family, on your children, on how you feel. There's just no time left for you. Can anyone relate to that? You're so busy doing your role, being a mum or a wife or a husband or a father or an auntie or a soccer coach, or, you know, the last thing is time for yourself to work on you. In fact, you know, I remember talking to a group of business people who were almost so time poor and desperate to get out of this overwhelm and working in the business that they felt like they didn't even have time to get a solution. I mean, imagine living like that, and some of you do. But a mentor, someone like me, can say, hey, Rebecca, Daniel, you're working on the wrong thing. You're reading the wrong book, you're watching the wrong videos, you're talking to the wrong person. A mentor has the ability to spot your blind spots even before you know that they're there. And I can see your paradigm. So then you can see it too, because most people don't even know what a paradigm is or how it's controlling them or how to change it. Look, if you can't swap seats with me today and do a 1-hour presentation on paradigms, what they are, how they were formed, how we change them, environmental, genetic, then you have absolutely no idea how paradigm is controlling and influencing your life right now, let alone your company, let alone your team. And it's the very thing that we must understand if we want to make a quantum leap, if you want to turn your annual income into your monthly income. You just simply don't know. I don't know about you, but in year 9, they didn't teach Paradigms 101. Wasn't taught at kindy, and yet they're the very things that are controlling our entire ecosystem of life. So you take responsibility for getting this, for understanding this, for creating the changes that you really want in your own life, and you'll be a far more effective leader at helping everyone else around you do it too. And this is exactly what's required if you want to make a quantum leap. If you want to create change at any level, right? At any level, if you want to get up a little bit earlier in the day, you're going to have to change the paradigm. If you want to eat slightly better food to benefit your health, you're going to have to change the paradigm. So whether you do this on a macro scale or a micro scale, you're going to benefit from this. The paradigm is so dominant that when you try to do it by yourself, most people don't succeed. And that's why most programs don't work, because they don't change the mental program. There's a lot of great programs out there. Don't get me wrong. There is a lot of great programs out there teaching great things, doing great work, but they don't teach you how to change the mental program. They don't go deep enough. And that's why I always say that when you work with me, it becomes a foundation, it becomes an underlying. And I have clients that have other coaches for other things and other different parts, but they stay and they're here because what that I'm going to teach you underlines everything. I mean, you can go to someone that can teach you how to run an ultra marathon, but if you don't have the self-image and the mental program and the paradigm shift to back that up, you're not going to do it. You're not going to stick with it. It's going to feel hard. It's going to be difficult. So don't worry about what other programs you're in right now, what else you're doing. You get into this as well now, because it's going to show you how to execute and benefit from all the other information that you've gained, all the other information that is sitting in your conscious mind that's just waiting to be programmed. I'm going to show you how to program it. I'm going to show you how to create that new mental program and go deep enough that you actually start to see results. The solution is in this organized step-by-step mentoring experience with me. It is a recipe, it is a formula, and it's a process. It happens in a logical step-by-step manner in a certain order, and you've got to trust the process. It's a roadmap, and I'm your guide. You know, tomorrow I'm taking an airplane and flying out to Birdsville in Western Queensland, where I grew up. And the airplane has a checklist. And you get to know the checklist after a while, but you still check the checklist. And it's a recipe, it's a formula, it's a process right? You're not doing your run-up checks before your start-up checks. It's not how it works. That would be silly. And yet that's what people are doing in life. They've got a piece over here and they're doing that, but there's a piece before it that has to happen, right? You're not doing your on climb checks before you've taken off. That's what people are doing. That's what they're doing with their life and with their companies. They're over here, doing their on climb checks, but they actually even haven't taken the time to put the flight plan in and get off the ground. So I'm going to teach you how to do things in a certain way to create the results that you want. And as you begin to do this, you begin to soothe yourself. The fear, the doubt, the worry, the anxiety comes from being out of control, whether you're consciously aware of that or not. But we don't have a system, a formula to follow. We don't have a process. I mean, imagine one of you heading out to the airplane and hopping in it and be like, right, how do I fly this baby? But that's what we're doing with our life. We've got this one life, and you have to take the time to learn how to use your mind, the universe, your mind and your body and your environment to bring everything into harmony to get to where you want to go. When I use an example of an airplane, it's quite, you get it, right? You just wouldn't do that. You'd take the time to learn to fly the airplane, to submit the flight plans, to check the weather, to do all of the things that are necessary to create a successful and safe flight. And yet, with the one life that you haven't taken the time to learn how to really get clear about what it is that you want, put the paradigms in place to help you create those results and start to live the life you've always imagined. Until yesterday, because today's a new day for you. Today you are going to make that decision and start to get this and take this seriously and get this and embrace it and bring it into your life and bring it into your business, because it is that repeatable formula, that roadmap, and I'm going to be your guide. I'm going to show you step by step what you have to do in the right order, not just bouncing from book to book or masterclass to masterclass or YouTube video to YouTube video. I mean, it'd be like, again, I'm going to use another flying analogy. I'm flying a Cessna 210 tomorrow. That's going to get me from A to B, but it would be like me going to YouTube to watch how to fly a Citation 2+ jet. It's not the exact resource that you want at this particular time. That's not the root cause. It's not where your focus needs to be. So that's what a mentor does. Gets you on the right track quickly. Studying the right material, studying the right books, doing things in a certain way, and that reduces the overwhelm. You're not panicking, you're not wondering, you're not worrying whether you've got it or not. Am I doing the right thing? Are you doing the right thing? Right? There are certain steps that you have to take, and you've got to take them in a certain order. Does that make sense? Type me a yes in the chat. There are certain steps you have to take, and you have to take them in the right order. If you want to go up Mount Everest, there's a certain way to get up the mountain, agreed? You don't bounce all over the place. And yet that's what we tend to do in life. Success is in your mind. You can do this. You know you can. You need a guide to support you. And you know what? You have got more potential locked up in your little finger that could power a whole city for a week. I mean, get that into your head. There is more power in your little finger that could power a whole city for a week. Don't you think it's about time that you release more of that? You know you can do this. You can do this. You're a smart, educated, switched on person. You will figure it out. If you're ready to see what's possible, head to my website, go to Thinking into New Results and sign up. Get yourself into my inner circle of excellence. Book your place today. Decide you are going to start today, and you'll never look back. KarenBrook.com is where you want to head. All right, let's take a couple of questions now and share a couple more stories with you before we wrap up for day 3. I want to share one more story with you. Kylie Martin Hollands from Gluten-Free Oats. She's got a big organic oats, gluten-free oats company. I don't think she's organic actually, but the point of the story is when she came to work with me, again, it was a very small business, turning over just 6 figures. She had a couple of multiple sources of income. It wasn't her main source of income at that time. And she got into Thinking into Results. And within 3 years, they had a 7-figure business. They now had partnered with somebody in Australia that could provide the gluten-free oats, but previously they're having to ship it in from America. And she is now building a vision to sell that company for 8 figures. I don't want to say the exact figure, but multiple 8 figures. in a little over, where are we? 8 years from when she first started TIR. So from a business that was just gone, 6 figures to $1 million to now getting ready to sell it for multiple 8 figures. So much more is possible for you when you begin to think like this, when you begin to create in this new way. I have another client, Naomi Durden. She has an accounting and financial services company, and she says that coaching with me is like showing you how to be the best version of yourself and achieving whatever you want with calmness. I love that. And it's so true, because you can achieve a lot in life but leave a trail of destruction behind you. You can achieve phenomenal success but be left burnt out, overwhelmed, stressed, and just not that happy with life. But nobody wants that for you. I don't want that for you, and I'm sure you don't want that for you either. So we want to achieve whatever we want with calmness. It's like another client of mine, Athena, said, "You've taught us the effortless way when before I only knew the effortless way." Achieving phenomenal levels of success, personally and professionally, but with a lot of effort. And now, within a year of leaving her corporate job, she has 3 companies that she has launched the effortless way. So I love this other one from Simone. Some of you have met Simone. Simone's been working with me for a very long time. Was working in radio when she first studied Thinking into Results with me in 2016. They did not have multiple sources of income in their business, but I think they have 6 sources of income now. Her husband's got 2 businesses, a phenomenal catering business, landscaping company. Her son has a business selling sandboards. She's now on my team here in our community liaison with you. And she said to me, it was like I was given the keys that magically opens all the doors that leads me to the results that you really want, or leads her to the results that she really wants, personally and professionally. So whether you do it for your personal life, whether you do it for your business, whether you do it for your company or your team, all areas of your life begin to transform. Kelly Bethel is another one to share with you. Kelly and I have worked together for a very long time. She's in my inner circle now. And she said coaching with me was like nothing else she'd ever done before. She's completed all of my programs, and I continue to be coached personally to this day. It is my belief that I would not have achieved personally or in business without the Thinking into Results foundations and her expert guidance. Karen's energy and her team is addictive. You just have to keep it around. I love that. We want to be addicted to the good stuff, the good energy and the good vibes that can help you get the results that you really want. So we've got a couple of questions here that have come in. One is from Ramona. My understanding is that the self-image paradigm is beneath all things, blocks, limitations, successes. Is it best to focus on shifting that first and trust that from there other things in life will align? Well, the self-image paradigm is, it brings everything together, right? And we can't outperform the self-image paradigm, but we don't try to change the whole self-image paradigm at once. Part of the structure and the process of the blueprint program is it's targeted paradigm shifts. And as we change one paradigm at a time, over time, our self-image paradigm begins to change. So we have an idea about, we know what we really want, we set our C-type goal, and then I teach you how to build a new self-image paradigm that matches that C-type goal. And it's all laid out in the program, how to do this. But then what we get you doing is starting to look at exactly how to close the knowing doing gap, exactly how to use your mind to create the results that you want, exactly how to use your mental faculties to then upgrade each paradigm. Because remember, we have 7 major ones: our use of time, our ability to earn money, our relationships, our logic, our productivity and effectiveness. And so we then work on a paradigm shift specifically for those areas that will produce the results that we want personally or professionally. And as we're doing that, we're actually upgrading our self-image paradigm. So we sort of have a guide of what that looks like, but then how we upgrade our self-image paradigm is by changing one paradigm at a time. The next question that you have here is the 28-day program recordings, or is there live coaching in it? So the Wealthy You 28-day program is phenomenal. In fact, Michelle, who is live with us on the call right now, Michelle Seaton Stewart, she is 3/4 of the way through the Wealthy You at the moment. So Michelle, let us know in the chat how you're finding the recordings. It is a self-paced, self-guided study program. You get 4 audios. So you study each audio for a week, and you get an email a day that comes in from me at about 5 a.m. setting you up for the day. So you read that email, you listen to the audio, and it sets you up. And the repetition of that. And it is phenomenal. So the first 2 weeks, we look at the inside. We look at your mind. We look at your mind and your well-being. And the second 2 weeks, we start to look at the external changes that you want to make. So we look at your unique talents and abilities and your use of time. So it's a great 28-day incubator to really create some mental freedom, to get really clear on the fundamental principles of your mind that are creating results, get you set up with thinking about your goals, what it is that you really want, and then some of those external changes, your unique talents and abilities and your use of time. And what we find in that 28 days is, for some people, it very quickly gets you clear and focused and reduces overwhelm. It gets you creating massive momentum. And then from there, sometimes people need to start in the Wealthy You just to bring that order. And then at the end of the 28 days, they go into thinking into results. So that could be a good stepping stone for some of you listening today, to do the Wealthy You first for 28 days. We also find that it builds a lot of self-confidence very quickly. So for sometimes a person their self-image is so far from investing $12,000 in themselves, but within the 28 days, they're like, where do I pay? Like, I want TIR next. Like, how do I get this? Because so much has shifted in that 28 days from doing the Wealthy You. It's a phenomenal program. I have my inner circle clients come back to do the Wealthy You with me because they love the 28-day process for themselves. And we have so many clients that do that and then they go into TIR. We have other clients that go straight into TIR. That's the usual route that people will take, is they go straight into thinking into results. They get the blueprint, they're right into it. It's either you go straight there or you push it back 28 days and you do the Wealthy You first. And that's a sort of a self-image thing, where your mindset is at, where you're feeling. But I always suggest that you make a decision that has you crashing through the terror barrier. Don't play it safe. Get out of your comfort zone. Go where you want to be, where you feel attracted, and it will always be perfect. How do you know what paradigm to work on? How do you find the blocks? You look at your results. Your results always tell you a true story about where the paradigm is at and where you need to focus and create the paradigm shift, Justine. Always look at your results. That'll always tell you a true story about where you need to do the work. All right. Okay, let's wrap this up. Let's bring it in for a landing now. I want to share this last little story with you about living your life your way. And I'm not going to read it verbatim from there. You can read that yourself. But I always had a pretty good life. Lots of people would say, wow, you've made it. I've been self-employed for a good 2 decades, but I worked hard for it. I was disciplined. I did the work. I hustled. I became a mum. I loved it, but it was super challenging at times, trying to be present across all the different roles. But I wondered how I could have a multi-million-dollar company and still do it the effortless way. And I still saw people that worked a lot, even when they told me that they love it or that they didn't, they still did. And so I had this guilty consciousness. Was I doing enough? Was I being enough for my family, for my team, for my clients? But today I have the courage to really live the way that I love to live, to do the things that I love to do, to enjoy every day. And my business runs so easily. There was a time many, many years ago where I had built a paradigm where I had to do discovery calls with every client. And my prices weren't on the website. You couldn't click and pay for it. You could not book a program with me unless you got on a call with me. And that had become a paradigm. So it was very attached to me being here, and that paradigm that someone decided in the coaching industry that people need discovery calls to book a program. And we changed that. We changed that 4 years ago. You don't book a restaurant by calling the restaurant owner and, well, tell me about your menu and how is the food prepared and what am I going to get for dessert and who's going to be serving me? Like, you just want to dine at the restaurant, right? So that's the way coaching should be. That's the way booking a program should be. You feel it, you love it, you want to be there, you want to be there with that person. And so we decided 4 years ago to start to build that paradigm where clients could go to my website and they could book themselves in. They could feel what they were attracted to. They could want to dine here with me. They could want to be there. They could want to be in this restaurant. And that had to be a paradigm shift. But it was a beautiful paradigm shift because I had 2 small children. And so that is what life is like now. I wake up and there's clients in my inbox and we do a masterclass like this and people go to the website and buy. But that didn't happen by luck or chance. That happened by me changing the paradigm, following the process, letting go of the BS thoughts that I had to do it a certain way or the way it had always been done in the industry or what the coaching industry says is acceptable. And actually saying, hang on a second, my business, my life, my rules, what do I want? And that's what I want to help you do. Really take a look at the way you're showing up, the way you're doing business, what you're earning, and start to say, is that what you really want? Is that as good as it's ever going to get for you? And if the answer is no, showing you and helping you to create what you really want. Not what I want, but what you really want. And that's the beautiful thing about this, is that the process, the plan, the blueprint is for what you want. I'm not telling you to go and achieve a certain goal. I'm helping you discover what that is for you and then giving you the exact steps to turn it into reality. So I want to thank you so much for joining us today and being here for day 3. And I did say we've got a very special day 4 planned for you. So please join us back here for day 4. And we have a special seminar to play for you, to share with you from Bob Proctor, and it's called How to Think and Grow Rich. It's a seminar that he delivered in 2019. You won't find it anywhere else. We have the recording for you to share with you as a bonus day 4. And we're going to share that with you back here on the call at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So please tune in for that with us. Make a decision today. Go to the website, get yourself booked in. Read these last 2 little testimonies from Shane Hiscock and Annabelle Tully. And Annabelle's another one that said, I felt like I'd become unteachable, that there wasn't anything I could possibly get out of working with Karen that I didn't already know. And she got into TIR and again, turned things around for her, changed her business, changed her life, got her on a new trajectory, very successful already in her own right. So study this workbook, read through the testimonies, look up the videos if you feel you want that. Otherwise, just go to the website, be radical, make a committed decision and act on it. And we can't wait to get you started on the inside with me. Wait to get you into the trainings with me. You deserve it. You deserve to live at the life you've always imagined. And we can't wait to take you there.